Department sat down. The Attorney General Loretta Lynch asked for them to come into the room and sit down and have a discussion with her about this consent decree. He told her it wasn't on his calendar. But yet he will put a public notification out that they were not called to the table to talk. Then they had some staff individuals who were willing to go through the process. And they invited us, tell us when you're available. And he told them, no, I'm not available. So when I'm waiting for him to start talking about what he's going to do, plans to do against our commissioner. So anyway, when I tried to get the commissioner to commit himself, he had already looked at his calendar. And I said to him, probably coming out of his mouth, well, listen, with all due respect, sir, if you can't make it, send your communication to him. Because he's more Facebook person than my life. It's to April and Kelsey. I'm looking at him saying, he's definitely what you call transparent. And he is certainly there as in terms of media. I have been looking at the city police department over the years. I started out with Bishop Robinson. He was my first guest. Phil, when I did radio on the weekend, Bishop Robinson was appointed. He was my first guest. So I've always been known to say, if you take the police out of Baltimore, I'm leaving too. And I'm very happy to say that in lieu of the fact that the commissioner will be with us on the Larry Young Morning Show this coming Friday at 8:30. He'll be with us, and we're going to have a good discussion about what we hear. But tonight you're going to get advanced because T.J. Smith. I was trying to tell T.J. that you were corporal or something. He kept saying, no, it's listed as media relations director. So he's the producer, so I listened to him. But I knew they gave you a title recently, some type of media relations. Chief. All right, I'm going to make sure. See, I'm trying to give you your props. But you're going to show some love and appreciation for Mr. T.J. Smith, Director, Chief of Media Relations.
All right, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much, Mr. Young. Thank you all for having me here. And I've said it before a number of times in public forums that I came to Baltimore under Commissioner Davis as an opportunity to really give back. I mean, this is a tough job. It's a morning to night job, 24/7. And of course I get paid to do the job, but you know, obviously came from a career and I could have stayed in that career, but I wanted to come back into the city I grew up in at one of the times that was most needed to have people who really cared. And I was honored to accept the phone call and the challenge and come here. And you know, it's been a lot that's gone on in the past more than a year and a half now that I've been here in Baltimore. And now we're upon something else, and that's the consent decree agreement, which we're going to talk about. And I want to make this as plain and simple as possible. A lot of people just don't understand the word consent decree, heard about it. And the bottom line in the story is a lot of people worked really hard to get this done. That was the former administration under Stephanie Rawlings Blake. That's the current administration under Mayor Catherine Pugh. That's Commissioner Davis and his team to get this done. What's important to note is the findings, that awful findings announcement that came out back in August was one of the longest ones. I think the Chicago Police Department, the exact same amount of pages, was the longest one in history of consent decrees or findings. And the agreement was completed in probably record time or something like that. Across the country, these things have taken a year or two to complete, and we were able to get it done. It was important, and it was talked about. Important because you don't know what to expect with the new administration coming in. Here's one of the bottom line, period, point blank, end of story discussions about this. If, for whatever reason, tomorrow, or next week, was 3 months from now, or a year from now, Commissioner Davis was gone, Mayor Pugh was gone, the agreement stays in place. And continuity is what matters. One of the things Baltimore has lacked over the years is continuity. And we had that here in Baltimore when Commissioner Bierfeld was here for a period of time. But again, it seemed to always be some sort of instability going on in Baltimore. And the Commissioner likes using an analogy, comparing some of the sports franchises here, the Ravens and the Redskins. And if anybody knows anything about football, you know the Redskins have been just a terrible team for the past 20 years or so. And the Ravens have been one of the more winning teams in the past 20 years or so. And if you just look at from 2000 until now, the Ravens have had 2 head coaches and have won 2 Super Bowls. And the Redskins have had 7 head coaches and won no Super Bowls, and really have not even made much of a playoff appearance. And that lack of continuity translates into our world. The city of DC is now on their 3rd commissioner since 2000, and just prior to Catherine Rainier retiring just last year, they only had 2 commissioners over the same time period the Ravens did. And they watched their murder rate plummet and their reputation get a little bit better in the community. And over that same time frame, Baltimore's had 7 police commissioners. And continuity matters. You keep changing things. It really just changes the focus of what's going on with the mentality of the police officers. Now, I'm going to defend officers to the end of time when they're out there doing the right thing. Because what they go out there and do is unbelievable. I've done it myself. And just the other night, car stop, routine car stop. Guy bails out of the car, he has a gun. He's a person who's been in trouble with the law before. Officers chase him down and arrest him. But have there been some officers who've done some horrible, ridiculous criminal things? Absolutely. And if anybody denies that, they're denying the need for growth, and we all have it. What this consent decree is going to do is mandate, not change in human behavior. I mean, a bad human being is a bad human being. Some of them do a little bit more than a piece of paper telling you need to get right. But a lot of this comes from that lack of continuity, lack of training, lack of understanding, process, and protocol. And now it's going to be mandated. It's not going to be 70% of our officers went through this training to understand this topic. It's going to be 100% of our officers went through. And we can back that up with documents and factual information. It's going to make the Baltimore Police Department better, period. And you can look across the country, and I would encourage you guys to do your own research and look across the country at jurisdictions who have had a consent decree and see where they are now and where they were prior to. It sounds like a bad word, and of course, with officers, it's a little bit of anxiety because you don't know. It's the fear of the unknown. It's the uncertainty that comes as a result of something new that you've never heard of. But with mandates in place that regardless of any changes that might take place through administrations, through bureaucracies, or what have you, you're going to be mandated to continue to fulfill those obligations that are going to make officers better. I had the luxury of coming from another agency that when I was sitting in the chair in the other agency, you think, oh, why don't we have this, why don't we have that? And then I come here and I see how these officers don't have some of the basic needs and some of the basic equipment and software to do their jobs, which causes, give me just a second, they don't have some of their basic needs to do the job that every other county in the region can do, but the city police can't. And it made me scratch my head. I had one of my people right on my wall when I first came in, as I flipped out a million times over things that I expected to get instantaneously, or I expected to be able to get an answer to. Manage your expectations. And it was told to me that way because it wasn't that easy, and certain things just didn't exist. So sometimes it requires a set of outside eyes to come in and examine that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't want that. You can maybe make it akin to some type of counseling, whether it be marriage counseling, substance abuse counseling. Sometimes you need somebody else to tell you, hey, here's what the problems are. Here's what the problem is. And that's kind of what we're going through with an outside administration of a commissioner who didn't come up in the Baltimore Police Department, with the Department of Justice coming in and examining some things. But what the Department of Justice also acknowledged, and I think this is important and can't be lost, is they acknowledge the strides that this agency has taken in the past year and a half to get better. Not just waiting. It wasn't this, let's wait and see what they say. It was, let's work right now to get better. Let's work right now to show the city of Baltimore, what we're going to do, what we're going to continue to do. And that is hard work to continue to change and to continue to get better. And the police department, without a doubt, is getting better. And the vast majority of the men and women in uniform of this agency are out there to do the absolute right thing. But have there been some people who have brought shame upon the badge and the patch? Absolutely. And if anybody doesn't acknowledge that, they're not telling the truth. And we know that. And that's something that people in uniform that are out there chasing the people that are running around harming our citizens, they don't like that because it makes their job more dangerous. It makes it harder to solve cases. It makes it harder and more dangerous for all of us to go about our daily lives. So there are so many different sections, of course, to the consent decree, the 250-something pages. Now, I have not read the entire thing, but granted, having been a part of a lot of the conversations over the past year, I picked up on it, a lot of it. And community engagement, of course, is a big piece. But as we talk about that, we have to remember a lot of the things that are going on. I was on a radio show this morning, and I talked about some things of how it's there if you want to look for it, but if you don't want to look for it, you can avoid it if you don't. Just today, there's a program where officers are teaching young kids how to swim. And that goes on every week. And they're out there in the middle of the winter, and I wouldn't be doing it, but they're doing it, so God bless them for doing it. But teaching kids how to swim. We were with the community mediation group last week, and these are new dialogues. This is a newer program that was started a year or so ago, where officers are paired up with young kids from schools and having dialogue, these real conversations. And I talked to one of the guys who was participating in this, and it opened his eyes up just to hear from a young person who has never had the opportunity to express themselves to a police officer. Now, and of course, you've heard recently of some of the staffing challenges in Baltimore, and that's not a secret. And I said this appeal on the radio. I'll make the appeal again. We need more police from right here in Baltimore. It's not a magic trick, and that's important to say. We can't continue just to beat down the Baltimore police and say you need to hire the Baltimore police, because who are the people in Baltimore that are going to put in to be the Baltimore police? We need more people from Baltimore, and you would probably be amazed at some of the people who probably should put in and could become amazing members of this agency and amazing change agents. And if you had asked me when I was 14 or 17 what I was going to do with my life, police wouldn't have been in my top 10 list. And here I am 20 years later as been a police officer. So you never know what path you're going to take, but we have to encourage young people from the city to apply. We can't expect this to be some sort of magic where all of a sudden it's going to increase the amount of officers from Baltimore. If they don't put in and apply, we still have to fill those seats in the academy class. So we need you to encourage your friends and family to be part of the change. Be part of the change that you want to see in your community and in your police department. Yes, sir.
I'm not sure that counts my church, but I hear some things now. Now I hear you comparing Baltimore Ravens and.
I didn't finish too.
But I know I get you, but and the Redskins. So I wanna come from that analogy. So I know that the team, in the midst of the coaching and these things, they're drafting players that are better, but they don't keep Flacco from throwing the football. And so I want to talk about the residents that are here, and I'm just going to speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure that they can agree with this. We have 300-something homicides in Baltimore. Because the police department are now drafting players and trying to tighten its group, does that mean now the 300 homicides become the new normal? What simply says, Flacco don't stop throwing the football, the receivers don't stop going out for the catch because they're looking for qualified players. But what I'm saying is, the new normal in Baltimore has become now 300-something homicides.